What's happening, everybody? It's your boy Creative. Go ahead, say it with me. We are back at it again to do what? To create something great. Now, I'm not going to hold you. I'm super excited what I have planned for y'all today. We're going to be using Claude Code just to check our work, but I'm going to be writing it myself. Yep. We're going to be building an MCP server, right? And we're going to be building this MCP server around an AI market agent that I already have called KODA. Now, what KODA is an AI agent that we've created that takes the information for our bots and being able to create a weekly market briefing like you see here, right? So this is the week 14 briefing. This is from March 30th through April 3rd. So last week's briefing, right? So what it does, it gives us an overlying hook, quote unquote. What has the market been doing? What did it expect, right? And what happened? NFP report is the non-farmers payroll report, right? It printed at 178,000, 3 times the estimate of 60K. The market was closed on Friday when I ran this, right? And the number on Monday will drop like a grenade because the market is expecting something big when you have an estimate, the actual number come in 3 times higher than the estimate. So as you can see, we do have a makeup of how these 4 indices done. The reason I like to use these 4 indices because SPY is going to let me know the overall sentiment of the market. SPY is the S&P 500, the top 500 companies within the New York Stock Exchange. We also have QQQ. QQQ is going to let me know how the tech sector is doing, right? So QQQ, if you haven't guessed it already, is the top 100 tech companies within the NASDAQ. DIA is going to let us know how the blue chip companies are doing. So those blue chip companies are going to be the top 30 companies, right? And then IWM is going to let us know how the little fellows are doing, the small caps, right? So this is companies, top 2,000 small cap within the Russell 2000, right? So we can see here the VIX range. We can see the daily performance, the day-to-day breakdown. So now what I want to do, and also gives us a breakdown of how our bots performed, right? And we also have a glossary, right? So it's quite comprehensive, and I appreciate KODA for being able to do this, right? So now what I want to do is create an MCP server that makes it a lot easier for any AI, or if I do make it public, so anyone could be able to use KODA when it comes to being able to create a market brief. So what I want to do first is being able to understand what is an MCP server, right? So I'm looking at the model context protocol, right? So I will share this in the description. Don't worry. And I'm also going to be using Claude Code to really ingratiate this, but let's just read this first. So what is an MCP server? MCP, which is the model context protocol, is an open source standard for connecting AI applications to external systems. Using MCP, AI applications like Claude or ChatGPT can connect to a data source, right? i.e., local files or a database, tools, which is going to be a search engine or calculators, or even workflows, right? These are going to be using specialized prompts, enabling them to access key information and perform their task. So think of an MCP server like a USB-C port for AI applications, right? Like a USB-C provides standardized way to connect to external devices. The MCP provides a standardized way to connect to external systems. So here's how it's going to work. In the middle, let me just make this a bit bigger. There we go. In the middle, we're going to have our MCP protocol, and this is going to be our CODA, right? So what it's going to do is going to be a chat interface, and that interface is going to be using Claude Code. So I'm going to be using an IDE, right? So I want to be explaining these terms a little bit more so we can understand them. So when I'm ever in Claude Code, I want to have Claude Code have access to KODA, and KODA is going to be our MCP server, and it's also going to be connecting to our database, and our database is going to be Superbase. It's going to be using a few different tools in order to get the market data, and it's also going to be pulling in our bot information, right? So this is just a visual of how the MCP server works. So what I want to do now is just get a little bit more context, right? So we proper understand how an MCP server works. So what I want to do is just copy this. It's like, all right, bet. I already read this. We already reviewed the following about MCP servers. MCP servers. Can you provide another analogy so this works? And also explain what IDEs are. Keep your response under 128 total tokens. All right. It's not like we're waiting for you or anything. All right. Beautiful. This restaurant analogy, bro. I'm getting tired of it. So think of it, MCP, like a restaurant kitchen system, and AI is going to be the waiter, right? So the MCP is going to be the ordering system. The MCP servers are the specialized stations, right? Whether it's going to be the grill, right? Whether it's going to be the bar or the dessert. Each server handles a specific request. All right, bet. I need you to go get the data, right? So how are you going to get the data? You're going to get the data from Superbase. I need you to go get the bot information. How are you going to get the bot information? You're going to go to the actual files and pull the bot information. Now I need you to go get market data. How are you going to go get market data? You're going to actually connect to the APIs in order to get it. So this one MCP server allows us to be able to do these multiple things such that our IDE, Claude Code, can use it a little bit more efficiently, right? So each server handles a specific task, and that task, whether it's going to be data, tools, or workflows, and then it sends the results back in a clean, standardized way. There's no confusion. And then IDE is going to be an integrated development department. It is an all-in-one workshop for coding, right? Editing, debugger, file management, and also runner in one place. Instead of juggling tools, everything you need to build, test, and fix code lives in one instance. That sounds familiar. Doesn't it sound like Claude Code? Yeah, it does, Brody. All right. I feel like we have enough context, right? We understand what an MCP server is. We understand what an IDE is, right? So let's actually get into our work of being able to create an MCP server for KODA, right? So now I want y'all to understand what KODA is a little bit more. So here's the README. KODA is going to be the Creative Coder Market Context Intelligence Agent. It does use Python 3.12. Anthropic Claude 4.6. I'm using ChromaDB. I'm also using OpenAI embeddings. A little bit of RAG in here, which is the retrieval augment generation. Little baby RAG. We're also using the Python library rich in order to make the output a little bit better. And then we're using the FastMCP API. So KODA is a real AI agent, not a prompt wrapper, because that's one thing that I'm noticing. Like everybody say, oh, I created an AI agent. Bro, you just created an LLM that's sitting on top of wrappers, bruv. All right, let's keep going. It turns weekly SPY, QQQ, DIA, IWM scanner data into a script-ready weekly market briefing for Saturday's weekly market market recap, excuse me. It reads the market data. It pulls in the economic events. Doesn't that sound like what MCP servers do, right? And then it stores its own output and then waits for human approval. Sounds like the MCP server, right? So here's a little bit more on the API of how KODA works for those that are interested in it, right? So just a little bit more breakdown of how it works. So now what I want to do is just being able to actually make our MCP server. Now, before we even do that, we need to install a few things, right? The first thing that we're going to pip install is going to be our FastMCP. FastMCP is a lightweight Python library that enables us to be able to create MCP servers. Excuse me, just had a little brain fog there. Can you explain FastMCP, the Python library? All right, FastMCP, lightweight Python framework for building MCP servers fast. So think of it like, I understand, bruv. So think of it like Fast API, but for MCPs. You define functions, tools, data access, and workflows, and the FastMCP automatically exposes them MCP servers so AI can call them. How it works, we're going to write a Python file, right? Python function. Okay, bet I need you to go ahead and get the stock prices, right? Then the Fast API wraps them as MCP tools, and AI, whether it be Claude, can discover them and then call the MCP, and then it handles the schema, the routing, and the communication for you. So what it does, it turns the Python code into an AI callable service without building protocol layers ourselves, right? So we understand FastMCP. Bet. Now we need to go pip install it. First, remember I told you about the conda environment. A conda environment is going to be a garage where I keep all of the Python packages that we're going to need, right? So first thing, what we need to do is go ahead and go into our conda environment. As you can see here, base. Now I'm in creative theory. Bet. So now what I want to do is just pip list. Show me everything that's in here, right? Is FastMCP here? I don't see FastMCP. As you can see, we do have a slew of things here, bruv. But do we see FastMCP? We don't see FastMCP. All right, now we need to go download it. How do you download something? You just pip install it. So what we're going to do is pip install MCP FastMCP. So now it's installing. All right, Gucci. Now what I want to do is just verify it's installed. Bet fast import is good. Let me make sure conda KODA is good. My fault. KODA is Gucci. Now what we're going to do is actually build our MCP server, right? Give us 2 seconds. All right, beautiful. Now we're going to create a new file. Call that file KODA MCP server.py, right? Then here's the code for it. We're going to bringing in the FastMCP, which we already confirmed. Then we're going to be bringing in KODA, which is going to be the AI that we created. And then we're going to be bringing in KODA's memory, right? So we have everything that we need. Now I'm going to save it. So here's the tool. So search market memory. Bet. We're going to search briefing. So here's another tool for the MCP. Another one is going to be able to list the briefings that we already have, get KODA's health, and then we're going to get the budget, right? Because it does cost money to run this AI agent. So we're also going to be able to get the budget if we need it. So I'm going to save this MCP server. Then we're going to close it. Then we're going to make sure it works. Make sure we're Gucci. Running for the first time. Sure, take a little bit. Then what I'm going to do is make sure we Gucci them. All right, it's taking a bit. All right, what I want to do while that's loading is I want to go ahead and get Claude Code open. I'm going to use the 4.6 Opus. Let's use that. So we're going to use the 4.6 Opus model. So what we're going to do is just make sure the MCP is Gucci. All right, so what we're going to do is go to MCP. So I'm not using the Google, not using the Claude AI. So I don't see our MCP there. So give me 1 second. There's something I need to go fix. All right, let me go look at the actual code. All right, we're Gucci. All right, beautiful. So now what I do, let me go ahead and get that command again for Claude. Well, damn it. I don't know if, oh, damn. Okay, you can work, bet. Let's make sure. Read the MCP server we just created. Bruv, okay. Then let's make sure we are good. So all I want to do is just make sure MCP is Gucci. All right, beautiful. It's reading the both files. And then once it's good, it should be able to use it without any issues. So when it comes to being able to use KODA now, we can use this MCP server that we just created. All right, the server. All right, beautiful, beautiful. In addition, the code is correct. It needs API keys. It's already there. All right, everything is good. The server is configured. Step 5. Let's go ahead and add to Claude. All right, now we're adding our MCP server. Done. Now let's restart. Go ahead to our / command, exit, clear. Let's come here. Shit. All right, now what we're going to do is actually test and make sure our MCP server is working. We already talked about effort, so I'm not going to go over that again. All right, bet. It's reading and it's using, and it's taking with the, oh, MCP failed. Why was that, fam? Oh, reconnect. We're having issues, and this is just one thing that's part of the process, bruv. And I'm glad y'all seen this so we can work out these bugs like here with you, bub. Give me 1 second. Even though I was able to find it, it just went directly. The MCP server, not MVP, MCP server is having an issue. Let's find out why and fix it. Also, see for more context. Let me diagnose the server connection issues. Oh, see what you're doing? You're not using the right conda environment. So that's one thing that I know off bat. So let me go get the right conda environment. Run in using Python, not Python 3. All right, get me right. So I see I did everything right on my part. The import works. Find all the JSON files, get the import works. Find the issues that there's no MCP JSON config file. Claude doesn't know how to launch the MCP server. Let me check if there's a global one and check how the server should be configured. Found the issue. There's no MCP JSON config for this project. The server called KODA market intel matches the MCP name, but Claude Code has no config. Tell it how to launch it. Let's fix. Okay. Those Google ones are the later one. The server is registered, but it's failing. Let me run and capture the error. And this is part of the process, bub. There's no output. That's suspicious. Isn't that like a meme? All right, get me right. Initialize okay. Everything is working. ChromaDB is working. We got our budgets. Right. Initialize, find the issues that the conda run is referring to the MCP. Studio, import the MCP server communication via the STN pipes. The conda run can buffer or interfere with that. Let me test with the direct Python. Part of the process, bub. Everything is initializing fine. Let me remove the broken one. All right, and go ahead and fix it with the correct one. There's no command. There we go. There's the MCP. Now we're Gucci. Now restart and let's pick it up and we should be working, bruv. We should be working. All right, so what I'm going to do, let's go ahead and exit, clear, run. Yes, it found the MCP server, Gucci. Now, what we're going to do, let's go! Our MCP server is working. Let's go. I'm going to check one more thing. KODA has been in a crisis. Look at that. We got Michigan. We got week 14, week 13. I love it. Let me check one more thing. MCP server connected. Let's go, baby. Man, we Gucci, y'all. So I hope you like this, right? If you want more videos like this, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button. It is your boy Creative. I'll be back at it again with another episode. We did get this right. It took a little bit longer, but we got it right. We got our MCP server working. I want to be using this a lot more. But again, go ahead and smash that like and subscribe button. We'll be back at it again with another episode.